And hello and welcome to Orion Today. I am Joe Johnson and I'm joined for the first time by Emma Schwartz. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Today is July 1st and this is your first time on the set of Orion Today. How was your weekend?
My weekend was great. I celebrated my graduation party.
Oh yeah.
It was perfect weather. We had a good turnout. I think like over 100 people.
Yeah.
So I got to see some good family friends. Some of my close friends came. It was a lot of fun.
And then what's next for you? Where do you go from here?
In the fall, I will be attending MSU to study broadcast journalism.
There you go. That's awesome. So you want to make a career.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I had a nice weekend. Spent some time with family. We had a family member have a birthday, so she picked a restaurant in Ann Arbor.
Ooh.
I know you're going to MSU, but we were in Ann Arbor.
Go green.
We went to a little Italian restaurant, really, really good food. So it's always nice to get together with family. And I did finally manage to find time to see the latest Mission Impossible movie.
Ooh.
Have you seen that yet?
No, I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I got to see it sometime soon.
Have you seen any of the other Mission Impossible movies?
I believe I have, but I have to re-jog my memory.
I think there's like 10 of them.
10.
And I'm pretty sure I've seen most of them in the theater. And they've been a lot of fun, and you know, Tom Cruise is one of our last great movie stars, and
Indeed he is.
I gotta tell you, if you do get a chance, see this latest one in a movie theater. There's some action sequences in it that can only be truly appreciated on a movie screen. So get some friends together and go check it out. Yeah,
I definitely will.
What about this weekend? You got anything planned for our long 4th of July weekend?
Probably just hang out with my family on my boat, and then this Friday is the fireworks downtown. No, sorry, Saturday.
Saturday is the Lake Orion
Yes.
fireworks, yep.
I believe I might be watching them at Water Street or at the park over there, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
What lake is your boat on?
I live on Lake Voorhees.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Friday night, it's a long-time Lake Orion tradition. It's a fundraiser for the Lake Orion Lions Club, and they call it Flare Night. And from what I've been told, it started when World War II came to an end. Everyone around the lake lit up the lake with flares, and there's some video right there, and it's really spectacular to see. It's something to see. And so that's Friday night, and over the past few weeks, the Lions Club has been selling the flares. There's Wonders Cleaners on M24. They sell flares, and there's other ways to get them. I think the Lions go out on the lake and sell flares on the lake. But on Friday at 10 o'clock, weather permitting, crossing our fingers, they'll light up the flares around the lake. And then on Saturday is the fireworks spectacular. And I usually shoot video from Greens Park, it's one of the best fireworks shows around. It's really incredible to see in person. And Greens Park is usually filled with families and children, and they're playing on the playground equipment, and it's really something to see. So that's where I'll be Friday and Saturday is shooting video of these long-time Lake Orion traditions.
It'll still be fun though. Get to see all the fireworks and see everyone enjoying them.
Yeah, definitely. It's, you know, Lake Orion's just, it's still, even though it's growing substantially, it still has that small town feel, and everyone's friendly and nice, and I don't know, something about lake living, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. But
Living's
yeah.
like a vacation.
That's right. Is that on the cue card? So let's get out there and check it out if you get a chance to see the fireworks.
You don't want to miss out.
This weekend. People line up M24 hours in advance, laying out blankets and stuff like that. And the show usually runs anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes or so. So it's a good show. So come out, maybe, you know, spread out a blanket, have some food, and check out the fireworks. Yeah. So, all right. Next up, just recently, Orion Township held their annual event. It's been going for about 15 or 16 years, I think. It started off at Civic Center Park, and I think it was 2009. It'll say in this video piece. And Matt Gibb, who was the township supervisor at the time, he wanted to create an event to boost morale in Lake Orion because there was talk at the time of the GM Orion assembly plant closing, and people were sort of depressed, and the economy was crashing. So they started this picnic in Civic Center Park, and people showed up for hot dogs and all sorts of stuff. And it's a tradition that's continued ever since. So just recently, they held the event. Now, over the past few years, it had been held here at the Orion Center because the Parks and Rec offices, we shared this building with Parks and Rec. For the first time ever, they moved that event to the Great Lakes Athletic Club, where the Parks and Rec offices and Senior Center is located now. And there was a threat of rain, so they were forced to move the event indoors, but it all worked out, as you'll see in this video.
That's good to hear.
On Thursday, June 26, Orion Township Parks and Rec invited the community to come out to the annual Summer Sizzle event held for the first time at the Great Lakes Athletic Club. Organizers planned to hold the event outdoors, but the threat of rain forced the last-minute decision to move the event inside the GLAC building. Visitors enjoyed food, games, and activities and had a chance to explore this impressive facility that's still undergoing some renovations.
Well, you know, we kept watching the weather, and it really just looked like we weren't going to make it. So we decided, rather than get rained on, to move everything inside. So here we are, at the last minute, inside. At least we have the space inside. We are a little disjointed. We have all the activities for families over here on the gym floor, and then we have all the food and all of the goodies that go with that over in the senior wing, in the kitchen area.
The Summer Sizzle originated as a community picnic in Civic Center Park in 2009 when then Township Supervisor Matt Gibb wanted to boost community morale. The event moved to the grounds of the Orion Center in 2013, but with Parks and Rec and the Senior Center moving to the Athletic Club, the Summer Sizzle followed right along. And every year, volunteers from the First Baptist Church help make the event possible.
Yeah, primarily we provide the foodstuffs so people can get something to eat. We provide teenagers to help with the kids' games, do some cheek art. We do all the grilling, and we've got some booths out here too, just to give some information about our church and about our school.
Why do you feel it's important to support these types of community events?
Because our church is part of the community, and so along those lines, we want to be involved with them and be of help where we can. And of course, we're here as a church with a particular message. And so in order to get that message out, we've got to intermingle with the community.
What can you say to all of the people that are helping make this event possible?
Again, I can't thank them enough. The vendors that are here, they all have an activity to offer. We have sponsors that have sponsored this event, that have financially supported this. And again, the church. Without the church, we wouldn't have an event.
Orion Township's free concerts at the Wildwood Amphitheater continue every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. through August 14th. And the staff is gearing up for their popular Big Rig gig on Friday, August 1st, beginning at 5 p.m. in Friendship Park. For more information, visit OrionParks.com. At the Great Lakes Athletic Club, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ONTV News.
Hi, my name is Dr. Mary Welsh, co-founder of Susie Q's Kids. Susie Q's Kids was founded in honor of our late daughter, Susie. She had a zest for life, her empathy and caring nature, her commitment to sharing the message surrounding suicide prevention and awareness, and helping children feel empowered, loved, and ability to succeed. We further the mission of other nonprofits. We provide comfort bags to kids in need in hospitals, hospice, shelters, foster care, advocacy centers, autism centers, grief centers, the sheriff's departments, first responders, really wherever there's a kid in need. We further the mission of these nonprofits and have helped over 16,000 kids so far find hope and healing and a little bit of comfort. We're the mental health advocates. We're the Community Partner of the Year for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. We're nominated as the Advocate of the Year with the National Alliance of Mental Illness. We share the message of the power of positivity, how it's okay not to be okay, how to understand the value of taking a moment and flipping your script, and participating in self-awareness, philanthropy, service, and the art of giving and accepting gratitude. We engage kids in helping kids. We work with different pillars in our community, including servants agencies and chambers, brain rehabs, volunteers, and 28 chapters of the Phi Theta Kappa of Michigan. As such, we see ourselves as a hub, collaborating and engaging in multiple parties to make a difference. We engage all these parties together. Want to learn more about how to become a smile maker? Check out our website, susieqskids.org, or the number that's on your screen. We'd really like to take a moment right now to, thank Lake Orion TV for giving us this opportunity, and all the partners and supporters and volunteers of Susie Q's Kids. Thank you so much.
So as you could see in the Summer Sizzle video, the turnout was tremendous despite those last-minute changes to move it indoors. The rain never really did come like they had thought, and it sprinkled a little bit, but luckily they had that gymnasium to move everything in there, and it all worked out. Turnout was great. Everybody had fun, so really, really cool event. So joining us now, we have Rob Longo and Randy Puff from the Veterans Ministry at LakePoint Community Church.
Yes, sir.
And you guys are doing some really great things out there. You have several events throughout the year, but you have one coming up in a couple of weeks, and that's what we're here to talk about. Extend an invitation to veterans looking for a fun time this July.
Well, first of all, we'd like to thank you for having us here and putting this on TV for everybody to see and for the community, and it is a community event. So we thank you for that.
Sure. Oh, we're always happy to help you spread the word.
Yeah.
So what's taking place at LakePoint Community Church this summer?
Well, our annual picnic, we're calling a Vet Fest now. It's been about 16 years since we've been doing this. And we're looking for a good turnout. We used to have it outdoors every time, but now a couple years ago we had it indoors because of the rain, and we thought that it seemed to work out. So this year we're planning to have a little bit of stuff outdoors, some tables and some basketball and some horseshoes for some guys to play, and there's going to be a car show, and if you have an old car, you're more than welcome to come and bring it and just showcase it. So,
and maybe bring your vet to the Vet Fest.
There you go.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah. As long as it's a classic.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyone who attends, did you say it's free to attend for veterans and family members?
Yes, sir.
Free
Yes.
for veterans and their families to come out and have a good time, and just let us show you our appreciation for your service. And yeah, the more the merrier. We'd love to have you come and just join us and let us do what we do.
Now, I've seen your events around the holidays and last year's summer event. The food just looks tremendous. Talk about what goes into preparing the food for this event.
It's a large event, and we start months prior to the actual event, but getting the food together and the ladies cook it, or we're not doing that type of cooking anymore, where it's coming in from outside. But we used to have the ladies do all the baked goods, and some of that stuff is just, you hit the baked goods table first before you hit the hot dogs and hamburgers, because you want to make sure you got room for dessert. But,
so you eat it first?
Yeah. Saves room later, but it's just enjoyable. A lot goes into it. We have some guest speakers and stuff, and Pastor Bob and a friend of ours, Mitch Washer, was going to be playing some guitar and singing through that day. So
We also have another band there. I forget the name of it, but we have a band.
Yes. And they're good. They've been there with us for 3 years, and they're really good. Play some good music.
What can you say to LakePoint Community Church? I mean, for providing the space, the venue for all this. I know they've been doing it for a long time. Talk about that relationship that the Veterans Ministry has with LakePoint Community Church and having access to this location.
You know, it's a godsend, because our church and the church grounds, it's on a lake, and we've got 20-something acres there, and just God provided that for our church and our community, and the church has opened up its doors to us and accepted us as a ministry, and it's just part of the family, part of the community, and we're so thankful for Pastor Jesse, who's the head pastor there now, and he's just, it's more than overwhelming, the kindness and that they show us and show to the veterans, and the appreciation and the respect that they have for us, what the veterans have done through the years for our country and through the wars and all the way down to the Civil War.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
and for our independence and all that. So,
Yeah. You know, I would imagine it's quite different what the reception that you get from the community compared to what you got, 40, 50 years ago coming home from Vietnam or the various wars. Talk about that. How were you greeted back then, and how have things changed since then?
I'm more affiliated with Vietnam War. I was actually too young to go, but I have many friends that went, and I've always wanted to go. But I think the veterans from Vietnam were treated wrong when they came home.
yeah.
Sorry, I get choked up.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
It was a hard way for them to go. I mean, people spit on them. People just said a lot of bad things, and I have the utmost respect for the people from Vietnam War.
Yeah. Especially considering that they didn't volunteer to go. Back then,
No,
it was a
they-
different time.
it was drafted.
Your number was called, you went.
Yeah.
And so you come back to that sort of reception, you're like, what did I do? I didn't choose to do this.
No.
So, I mean, now today, people choose to join the military, and that's
Yeah.
an honorable profession. But talk about now, when you're out in public, people see you, maybe you're wearing something that tips them off that you're a veteran. What's the reception you get from the community today?
Lately, we've been getting good reception. I usually wear a hat or something that says veteran, and people notice that, and they give you respect. They thank you for your service. And also, when you're doing that, you're able to see another veteran in the shopping center, in a mall, or on the street, at a gas station, and you just go up to each other and we say, thank you for your service, welcome home, shake your hand. We have a chaplain's thing that we do. Randy makes these crosses, disciple crosses, and we give them out to veterans when we see them on the street, and it's just welcoming home. I served during 1968 to 72. I was in the Air Force. I was an aircraft mechanic on cargo planes. I never went to Nam, but I call myself a veteran of the Vietnam War, not a Vietnam veteran, because it doesn't give those guys respect.
Yeah,
You know.
right.
In World War II, when guys came home, they had a ticket tape parade. They were so welcome, but people wanted to beat us up and call us baby killers.
Yeah,
a lot of
right.
things going on back then.
Yeah.
So
So now there's picnics, there's celebrations.
Yeah, that's
We
great.
have the amazing Orion Veterans Memorial here in Lake Orion. Have you guys
yeah,
been?
yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yeah, it's one of the nicest, I think, in the country.
Lieutenant Colonel Cindy Wright had spoke there last year
Yeah, yeah.
at an event and told her story during 9/11.
Yeah,
Her being on the airplane with President Bush.
yeah.
So that was really compelling, and it's just quite a story. It touched our hearts about what was going on in our country, and she was in the midst of everything.
Yeah, and it makes you realize there are people in this community that have stories that you just wouldn't be aware of. And I had met Cindy Wright multiple times before she spoke at the Patriot Day ceremony a few years ago.
Yeah.
And she's up there speaking, and I'm like, oh, I know her. And then she tells a story of how she was on Air Force One with the president during 9/11. And you realize that people in this community have these amazing stories to share.
Yeah.
It's really incredible.
And that's why it's important, I think, to engage with someone. And there's still some World War II veterans around, but just the positive affirmation that we get now from being vets and just thanking us, because all gave some, but some gave all. Some gave their lives to keep this country free,
Yeah.
and that's important. And the respect, that these guys went out, they left their homes, their families, their children, men and women, And most of them were boys. I mean, 19, 20 years old. They're all
Sure.
kids when we first signed up.
Yeah. Talk about why you think it's important to have these types of picnics and events. Like, it's one day, you get a nice meal, but what do you think it means to those who attend? Why do you continue to do this year after year?
Family. We're all family. The people that it served, it's kind of like being a family. Even though we have different branches and we pick on each other, you know, goofing around. But if you pick on one of us, then you picked on all of us.
Sure.
But it's important just to keep the love, the camaraderie, the respect, like having a family picnic. You know, you all get together once a year, but it should be sometimes more than that. Trying to get some special events together that people go, hey, let's just get together and have a barbecue, or go to the VFW for a chicken dinner on a Wednesday night, or something like, or the Legion Hall, and
Yeah.
I think it's important to keep this alive.
Yeah. And I would imagine that the memberships of the VFW and the American Legion, they're aging up. And are you out there trying to recruit the younger guys who have served to continue these types of things?
Yeah, we put out flyers and different invites for younger people to come in, because we're only going to be here so long. Somebody's got to pick it up and carry it on after us.
Yeah.
And you know, the younger people, that's who's going to do it. But you know, sometimes it's a little rough getting them involved and getting them excited about what we do, because we do more than just do picnics. And you know, we have other different groups that come out, and veterans that have issues with getting their benefits or medical issues or something. We have people there that help them through that.
Yeah.
So it's more than just a picnic.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually use the expression, the usual suspects. You always have the same group of people who do the lion's share of the work, and eventually someone's going to have to step up and take those reins.
Yeah.
We would hope they would.
They would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep it alive, keep it going. Like you said, we're all getting older, and we're trying to, bring the younger generation in. And even though it's war and it's still the same, but it's this type of generation from the previous wars, just recently, Afghanistan. And when they come home, there's a lot of mental anguish and a lot of PTSD, and they don't want to engage. They're still too young. They're still too fresh. I have a friend, Carlos, that served 10 years in the Army overseas, and comes home, and I could just kind of see in his demeanor and how he talks and his posture, and he's not right. He's not settled yet.
Yeah.
And I just, as a chaplain, come alongside of him, pray for him, and we're there to talk to him, and just kind of talk him back down into civilization, like being, just a regular, normal citizen in America, rather than being in the military.
Yeah.
A different world, totally different world.
Yeah, I know for the longest time, people would say to me that veterans of like World War II or Vietnam, they didn't necessarily like to share their experiences with civilians. But later on, it seems like things have eased up a little bit, where it seems almost kind of cathartic for a veteran to be able to share those experiences. And that's why they have events at the Veterans Memorial, like coffee with vets and stuff like that, to get together. And if they feel like sharing, they know that they're in a safe space to do that. And maybe that's like a valve to help release some of that stuff.
Yeah, sometimes. Depends on what your experience was when you were in the military, right? There's some things, and sometimes that things happen in the war, and you grew up with your friend, and you joined the military, and then all of a sudden you see he's dead right next to you. So, how can people say, well, why don't you get over it? It's been 50 years.
Yeah.
That's something you could never get over.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right? Losing a loved one.
We've heard many stories like that. We go to different places, and like American House, so in different homes and stuff, and we get to listen to these stories that these guys tell us, all the way from World War I on
to
Vietnam and Korean War and Iraq, and we get to listen to these stories, and sometimes it's a little rough.
Yeah.
But you know, you get them to open up and things start to change.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've seen some series like on HBO. Initially, they did Band of Brothers,
That's
which
awesome.
focused
Yeah.
mostly in the European conflict. Later on, HBO did a series, I think Tom Hanks was involved, where they focused on the Pacific. Now, you hadn't heard a lot about the Pacific. Usually, they tend to romanticize like the European side of things.
Yeah, yeah.
When I saw what went on in the Pacific, I'm like, oh my God, talk about the horrors of war.
Yes.
That opened my eyes. I learned all kinds of new things about what was happening in that part of the world during World War II.
And you don't hear much about that. A friend of mine, his dad was on a ship. Her dad was on a ship, and it got hit by a couple torpedoes, and he was in the ocean for 30 some odd days, and he lived. But just to see what happened in that 30 days, I don't even want to talk about it.
That
but,
wasn't the Indianapolis, was it?
I don't remember which ship he was on,
Okay.
but he wrote a book, and I was able to read that, and it was pretty compelling. I don't usually read books, but
Yeah,
I read that one. It was just amazing how God works sometimes, and they're in the moment, and saves our lives and uses us for a different purpose later on in our life.
Sure, sure.
You know.
Yeah, I can only imagine the stories that are swapped when they get together at events like the Vet Fest, and I'm sure it's great for them to be able to be among their kind and share their experiences.
But on a brighter note, so this is going to be a fun time.
Yeah, oh, sure.
It's going to be enjoyable, and your family, if you're a veteran, bring your family. You're welcome with your children, and a lot of things are going on, and there'll be a lot of vendors there. So if you have issues and you haven't had a chance to talk to anybody, or if you have hearing issues or visual, there's people that will direct you to get help. You know, hospitalized. If you're hospitalized and you can't get out, but people will come to you. All we have to do is know it, and then we'll come and get you.
Yeah. So we have Saturday, July 26th, begins at 11 a.m.,
Yep.
runs to 2 p.m., and it sounds like it's going to be a great time had by all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If,
Go ahead.
if anyone wants to like donate or help raise money for this event, like how can they?
What do you think?
well, if they want to donate or whatever, we have boxes there. We'll take donations if you want to write a check. Just make it out to the church for the Veterans Ministry, and they'll make sure that we get it, because it does take money to put these picnics and different events on. So we always do something to try to do fundraising or get people to donate, or we sell these crosses there. We sell T-shirts, and we just feel free to donate if you want.
Yeah.
If you plan on coming, just call the church, let them know, so we know how much food to buy.
Yeah.
Call the church, and if you want to make a donation, call them directly, and they'll tell you how to do that, and you can send a check or stop by. And
Yeah. The church is the contact point, and the number we have here is 248-628-0038.
Yes.
So anyone who wants to reach out to the Veterans Ministry can do so through LakePoint Community Church.
Yes, sir.
So great.
Yes.
Well, I hope we get butts in the seats, and it's
Yes,
going to have a
sir.
good time.
Thank
Oh,
you
we'll
so
have
much.
a good time.
Yeah.
Either way.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out.
Thank you,
guys. I
sir. God bless you
appreciate
Thank you
guys.
for having
me.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Now we're going to throw you to a video. This is a fun one. We recently here at ONTV did our week-long kids video camp.
Indeed we
We
did.
get 5th graders and 6th graders and even some 7th graders. They spend a week here in the studio learning video production, and then they put together a final project. And as part of their final project, we have them put together sort of a short comedy sketch. Now, the sketch you're about to see was written almost entirely by ChatGPT, which is a marvel. And we tweaked it a little bit, and the kids kind of contributed a little bit to it. But it was a lot of fun putting together. You were present for most of that. What were your thoughts on Kids Video Camp?
I thought it turned out really good. It was a handful a little bit, like trying to get all the kids to listen and for getting their ideas out. But in the end, it turned out to be a really good project. And let's just say it might be a murder mystery, or there might be killers. So
That's
all
right.
I can spoil.
All right, yeah, no spoilers. All right, let's take a look at that video. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And I'll be there.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Dan Dramatic, and we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for a very interesting update out of City Hall. You might want to sit down for this one, folks. It's been a wild week in local politics, and no, it's not about any new policy changes. This is about a scandal that's less high stakes and more highly ridiculous. Our very own Mayor Jerry Thompson, who has spent years touting his unwavering commitment to transparency and public service, has found himself embroiled in a snack-related scandal. Yes, you heard that right, snacks. Specifically, a bizarre incident involving a vending machine, a miscalculation in the snack budget, and what is now being referred to as the Cheetos conspiracy.
That's right, Bob. According to sources, and we'll be honest, this is almost too good to be true. Mayor Thompson allegedly used city funds to purchase over $5,000 worth of snacks, primarily Cheetos and Doritos, for a meeting that was never held. Now the twist here is the mayor insists these snacks were meant for a community outreach event. He claims the city council needed them to strategize, but as one local council member put it, I don't remember any meeting, but I do remember eating 3 bags of Cheetos in his office.
In an interview earlier today, Mayor Thompson told us, and I quote, "We were just trying to think outside the bag." When asked why he didn't just buy a normal quantity, he said, "I wanted to feed the minds of the people." But of course, it's hard to digest that explanation when the receipts show that the mayor might have been feeding his own snack addiction on the taxpayer's dime. Even more confusing, someone in the office swear they saw him eating a sandwich during the meeting, which raises the question, were the Cheetos for the team or just for him to get that extra crunch for his political decisions?
And here's the kicker, folks. When the city accountant tried to audit the purchase, the mayor allegedly told them, "I don't have time for audits. I'm too busy crunching numbers."
So it looks like we may soon be seeing a city council debate about what really belongs in the city snack stash. Will Cheetos reign supreme, or will we finally see the return of a more sophisticated snack? Only time will tell. One moment, folks. Apparently we have some breaking news. We have a new top story. Murder. A word you didn't expect to hear during your dinner, unless you're watching this show.
Yes, Dan, a murder most mysterious. Our field reporter, Susanna Live, is live on location with the cast. Susanna?
Thanks, Ronald. I'm here on Maple Street where someone definitely died and people are pretending to know things. Earlier today, this quiet neighborhood was shattered by screams, probably from witness Todd Tremples, who's here with us now. What did you see or hear?
It was horrifying. 1 minute I'm watering my plastic flowers, and the next bang, boom, yodelee-hoo.
Wait, what? Did the victim yodel?
No, but I always hear yodeling before bad things happen. It's my gift or curse, or maybe I'm just lactose intolerant.
Susanna, I have a follow-up question. Isn't murder against the homeowners association policies?
I don't know if it is, but I've heard the victim will have to pay a fine in response to a noise complaint.
The victim is dead. We've confirmed it. That's why it's called a murder.
Here's a drawing of the suspect. I can't draw that well, so here's a unicorn. Isn't it cute, though? Right?
We have one suspect, a man so average that he's suspicious. Meet Lucas Brintz.
I just eat cereal and work in accounting. Why would I kill someone?
That's exactly what a serial killer would say.
It's Cheerios, not Murderios.
To help us understand the chaos, we turn to our weather expert, Lisa Rain. Lisa?
Thanks, guys. A cold front of fear is sweeping across the Maple region with screams coming in from the east, accusations from the north. In other words, the forecast is cloudy with a chance of murder.
Describe what you saw. I saw him, clear as a goat. He was sneaking around with a suspicious sandwich.
It was all part of the Owls government's plan. Owls, I tell you, they know too much.
Owls? Well, there you have it, folks.
I don't know who's winning, but my money is on the butler. There's always a butler.
Actually, we've confirmed that there is not a butler.
But there's a ghost butler.
Cause of death? Blunt force by a ham. Yes, a ham. Possibly spiral cut. Delicious and deadly. All this talk of ham is making me hungry. Isn't it so exciting?
Breaking news, the murder is about to be unmasked.
Curses, I could have gotten away with it if it wasn't for the stupid news broadcast.
I can finally go home. There you have it. Mystery solved. Justice served. Possibly with ham.
And that's the news. Stay calm, stay safe, and maybe lock your fridge. You never know when your lunch might become a murder weapon. Gosh, I sure hope they caught the right guy.
Yeah, it would be terrible to think that some crazy lunatic is out roaming the streets.
So as you can see, it was a lot of fun putting that together. It was stressful at times, and I could use a long nap after it was all said and done. But really, you know, the kids had a good time. That's what matters the most. But you mentioned just a second ago the one girl, what was her name?
Josie. She was one of the reporters in the story. And recently, we just got a letter in the mail from her. It was like this little drawing, and she was telling us how much fun she had. Apparently, she was trying to get into the camp last year and was bummed that she couldn't. And so she found out that she got in this year and was like really excited and was so happy. She said she learned a lot about like what it's like being in the news, and she definitely wants to come back next year, which made our hearts. So.
Yeah, and it sounds like she wants to, you know, make films and things like that. And you know what was great about that letter is, you know, we had 13 kids go through the camp, and you really don't know which ones were being made to come here by their parents and which ones want to come here for fun. And you don't know if what you're doing is getting through to them. And then you get this letter in the mail that at least one, and I know there's more, but at least one really had a good time and wants to do more of this. And it makes it all seem worthwhile. And so I'm like, all right, we'll do it again next year. So yeah, so that was a lot of fun. A brand new program that only recently started airing on ONTV is an open mic night show. And the story behind this is that when the Parks and Rec staff was over at the other part of the building, they started an open mic night, just kind of live performances, and whoever wanted to show up could show up, and they were pretty much just entertained each other. And when the Parks and Rec staff started their move to the Great Lakes Athletic Club, people wondered, well, what was going to happen to open mic night? Was it going to move to the new building, or was it just going to be lost? And I had suggested to someone, I'm like, well, we do have a TV studio here, so why not just move the open mic night over here? And it's kind of taken off. So now, instead of just coming in and performing for, you know, each other, they're now performing for the cameras, and we get to capture those performances. And there's some real talent in this community. So we are recording these performances, and we're editing them together, and we're airing them on ONTV as open mic night. So here's a clip from a recent episode.
All right, so this song is about the Monster Truck Jam. I was always inspired, you know, at first I heard one comedy writer sing a song, and this is my attempt at a parody about the Monster Truck Jam. So it goes like this. Put on my best fatigues and my caterpillar hat. Got my pouch of Red Man, I'm ready for the Monster Jam. Call my third cousin Bobby to see if he wanted to go. Had to attend a military meeting, so he said no. Gassed up the old RV and I headed out for the dome. Don't think there's anything better than having wheels that let you roam. Going to the monster truck jam, gonna see a mess of trucks. Gonna sue the monster truck jam, can't beat it, it's only $10. Last week it was the tractor pull, WrestleMania the week before. Nothing beats those monster wheels, light engines, and quad runner wars. Oh yeah, the monster truck jam. Oh yeah. Gravedigger, Bigfoot, girls with big hair. Lord, I love the monster truck jam. Out came Gravedigger, and when he stepped on the gas, the crowd went wild. It's like the Pope was at a local mass. Out came the quad runners, those are souped up 4x4s. One of them lost his wheel in the crowd. Yeah, for more, yeah, for more. I say I'm going to the monster truck jam, gonna see a mess of trucks. Going to the monster truck jam, can't beat it, it's only $10. Last week it was the tractor pull, WrestleMania the week before. Nothing beats those monster wheels, light engines, and quad runner wars. Oh yeah, the monster truck jam. Oh yeah. Gravedigger, Bigfoot, girls with big hair. Lord, I love the monster truck jam. Lord, I love, Lord, I love, Lord, I love from the heavens above. Lord, I love the monster truck jam. Monster truck jam.
So if you have a talent you want to share and you want to take part in open mic night, you can do that. Reach out to us here at Orion on TV, and we'll get you on the show. As we talked about earlier, fireworks are right around the corner. Now, I don't know about you, but after the past couple weeks, if you are quiet for a little bit, you hear off in the distance, boom, 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 boom. And I always kind of joke that this is the time of the year where the fireworks people and the dog people kind of go toe to toe, because as you know, fireworks can drive dogs crazy. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the solution is, but yeah, the fireworks have been going on. Do you hear them in your area?
Yes, I hear them all the time.
Yeah, it's like for a month you hear people lighting them. Now, the fireworks show that's going to be taking place over Lake Orion this weekend, this Saturday, they solicit donations year-round to make it happen, and without those donations, we wouldn't have this Lake Orion tradition. So recently, we had a representative of the Lake Orion Fireworks Foundation here in the studio to talk about what you need to do to make sure that Lake Orion continues to have this fireworks show every year.
Hello and welcome to Orion Outreach. I'm your host today, Tracy Woodrum, and today we are joined by Bob and Rose of the Lake Orion Fireworks Foundation. So thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk a little bit about the fireworks. It's an event that we love every year on the lake, whether you live on the lake or you get invited on a boat or to a party or view from some other vantage point. We all enjoy it on the 4th of July or right around, depending on when that Saturday falls. But tell us a little bit about the Lake Orion Fireworks Foundation. I know there's a lot of different people who have different ideas as to where the money comes from for these fireworks, but it really comes from just one source, right?
Absolutely. It comes from just one source. It comes from the residents of Lake Orion, and some of the businesses donate to shoot the fireworks on Lake Orion. The fireworks are about 40 years old. It started with a guy shooting them from his side of his cottage right in front of the lake, and it graduated to an event for Lake Orion. Glenn Stokes, who isn't here with us anymore, was one of the earlier pioneers shooting fireworks from a pontoon boat. And then Nick Christie got involved, and then Carl Sorowski got involved, and Rose has been involved for a long time, and I've been involved for about 15 years. So, you know, we're trying to keep it rolling, and it's getting harder and harder every year.
It's all volunteer.
It's all volunteer. Nobody gets paid. No money goes anywhere but to fireworks. And if we can't get enough money to keep it going, we'll just end up not doing fireworks anymore on Lake Orion.
Oh, that would be a shame. But yeah, so like you mentioned, your foundation, it's 100% volunteer based. There's nobody gets a salary or gets paid, or there's really very minimal like expenses, maybe for putting up marketing materials.
Absolutely.
But other than that, every dollar that gets donated goes right into the fund to fund the show.
Yes.
So.
And it's an expensive show.
Yeah.
This
How
year
much?
it's $40,000.
$40,000.
Last year was $46,000.
Okay.
You know, it's an expensive show, and it's not getting cheaper because everything comes from China.
Okay.
No fireworks are made in the United States.
Really?
Everything's China.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it all.
But
comes
the
in,
interesting thing is, which I just found out, there's no tariffs on fireworks.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know. I thought that was interesting
Okay.
too.
Well,
Never has been.
That does help.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
All right. Well, I guess we'd like our celebrations here, so we're not going to.
Right.
Not
right.
going to deter that at all. So you mentioned that residents and some businesses. Are you still open to sponsorships for?
Absolutely.
For the fireworks?
We are always open for
Okay.
sponsorships and money. I mean, Rose sends out about 30 to 40 letters a year to local businesses, and we hope to get money. I mean, a lot of times the restaurants have been, very nice about donating.
This year it's been slow.
This year it's been slow. The dealerships have always been nice about donating, but again, this year it's been slow. And we're doing our GoFundMe, and that's raised a little over $8,000 this year, and I think our check count is just under 5,000. You know, so we got a ways to go.
Okay.
We're trying to hit $40,000 for next year, and it's going to determine how much we shoot next year.
Sure.
So obviously, they raised enough money to put on the show this Saturday, so expect the show over Lake Orion. They launch them from a barge on the center of the lake, and that'll be going on this Saturday, usually right around 10 p.m. Sometimes if weather is threatening, they might launch it a little earlier or later to respond to the weather. But I haven't looked at my weather app yet, but hopefully we'll have good weather this weekend.
I believe we will. So.
Yeah. Now, these fireworks, like I said earlier, have a long, long tradition here in Lake Orion. And when I first came out to this community in the 90s, the mid-90s, they used to launch the fireworks from Greens Park. And Nick Christie, who used to own the restaurant in Lake Orion, Christie's, he was sort of in charge of putting on the fireworks show, and he would help organize fundraisers and stuff. And they had a team. They would sort of close off Greens Park to the public, and they would dig a trench, and they would put in these pipes, and they would launch the fireworks from these pipes in Greens Park. Unfortunately, there were some complaints because that generates a lot of debris. You got these sort of paper bombs that get launched up, and that debris comes back down, and there are complaints of cars getting damaged and maybe small fires getting started and stuff like that. So eventually they turned it over to this company. I'm trying to remember the name of the company that does the fireworks, but now they take a barge out onto the lake and launch them from the lake, and they put on a pretty great show. But over the years, there used to be the one fireworks show, and then there was some controversy where the fireworks people didn't get a permit in time or something, so they launched the fireworks from the far side of the lake, which is in Orion Township, and all these people who were gathered over by Greens Park, they're like, where are the fireworks? And they were way far away. And then to try to make both sides of the lake happy. They had dueling fireworks, where you had two fireworks show going on simultaneously. And then over the last few years, there was a Lake Orion Lions fireworks show that was closer to Jubilee, and then the traditional fireworks show. So over several weeks, you had multiple fireworks shows. So the fireworks have been really evolving and changing over the years. But now we're back to one big fireworks show on 4th of July weekend, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. So where'd you say you're going to be watching it from?
Probably at Water Park.
Yeah.
I don't fully know yet if that's going to happen, but hopefully.
Yeah, you know, there's the new apartments just had a grand opening, the Mystic Cove, and I would imagine anyone who's already moved into those apartments, they get a front row seat to the fireworks show. That's
perfect for them.
It's got to be a great view. And there's more development going on, so we'll keep you posted on the progress. Now, one thing that's obviously a concern this time of the year is fireworks safety, right? I don't know anyone who's ever gotten seriously damaged, but I've heard stories. So here's a segment, this week's Quick Hits, that focuses primarily on fireworks safety.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and welcome to this week's ONTV Quick Hit. Did you know that fireworks cause nearly 18,500 fires a year? So if at-home fireworks are a part of your 4th of July celebration, follow these tips to keep your family safe and reduce the risk of wildfires. Toss handheld fireworks like sparklers into a bucket of water when finished. Keep a water source ready to spray embers from fireworks. Don't try to reignite fireworks that won't go off. Don't launch fireworks into forests or fields. Dry grass or leaves could ignite. Always supervise kids and keep fireworks away from your face and eyes. And keep an eye on the weather. Dry days with high winds are the riskiest. That's it for this week's ONTV Quick Hit. Have a fun and safe 4th of July weekend. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
So be safe this year when you're lighting your own fireworks, and have fun this weekend watching the Lake Orion fireworks show. Any long-term plans for this summer, even anything you've maybe discussed or thought about?
Possibly I might be going up north to Traverse City with like a few of my friends.
What's there to do up there?
One of my friends has like a huge cabin like on the lake. It's like near Torch Lake. And last year I believe we went out to the city, went out to restaurants, went shopping. We were gonna pick cherries, so hopefully this year we do. Then we also were reading on the beach.
Nice.
Can't complain about that. And then I will be seeing my family in Canada soon, and then possibly going to the Oakland County Fair, which is taking place very soon.
Yeah? Do you have any idea what's going to be there? What's at the Oakland County Fair?
The Oakland County Fair has been taking place for like quite some time now.
Yeah.
They have like pig races. They have like plenty of rides. Like they offer them for little kids, teenagers. They have plenty of foods. They have like pop-up markets as well. It's always a fun time.
Okay, I've never been. When I was a kid, I used to go to the Michigan State Fair, and that was always a good time, but I've never been to the Oakland County State Fair. I'll have to look, or State Fair, Oakland County Fair. I'll look up info on it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have any immediate summertime plans. I am thinking of planning a trip to LA. For a while there, I would go to LA pretty much every year, but then I've sort of gotten away from it the last few years. But I'm thinking of going back and maybe checking off some bucket list stuff while I'm out there. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Hollywood Bowl, but it's a big concert. It's an outdoor concert pavilion that, you know, dates back almost 100 years, and the biggest acts in music and stuff will perform at the Hollywood Bowl, and it's something I've always wanted to do, so I might check that off my bucket list this year and some other things. Have you ever been to LA and Hollywood?
No, that's
Is that
my
something you
dream
want to
though.
do? Yeah?
Yes, I really want to go.
What's on your to-do list? Like if someone said, hey, let's go to Hollywood, what are some things you would like to do?
I do want to walk around the city. I do want to go, what's it called? What's with the stars like on the ground?
Oh, the Walk of Fame.
The Walk of Fame, yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
think of that. I really want to see that.
Grauman's Chinese Theater, they have the handprints and the footprints in the
Yeah, I
cement.
wanna
That's
see
something
that.
to see, yeah. Yeah, and if you get a chance, tour the studios. That's always a lot of fun. You never know who you're going to bump into at the studios. Back in 2015, I was touring Paramount Studios all by myself, and I had been there before. It's one of my favorite studios to visit. And there wasn't a whole lot going on because it was on Good Friday, and the tour guide was apologizing to us like, oh, there's nothing really good to see. And then I see a guy approaching our golf cart that we were on, and it turned out to be Keegan-Michael Key, who was from Key and Peele, and he's in all kinds of things. And I told him I was from Detroit, so he came over and he chatted with us. So that's the fun thing about doing tours in LA is you never know who you're going to run into, who you're going to see, and you'll always come back with stories. I had a friend, she was going to LA and she was asking me for things to do, and I suggested that she go to Santa Monica. There's a beautiful pier and some cool stuff in Santa Monica. So she took me up on my advice, went to Santa Monica, and when she came back, I saw her and I said, did you experience anything good? And she goes, you're not going to believe this, but she goes, I was on the Santa Monica pier and it was getting late and her and her husband were getting ready to leave, and she kind of lost sight of them, and there were a lot of people on the pier. And so she finally saw him and called him over, and she wasn't really paying attention, and as she turned, she ran face first into somebody's chest, and when she looked up, it was Harrison Ford.
Oh my gosh.
And she was like, you're Indiana Jones. And he goes, shh, and he was there with his wife and their children and stuff. So everyone has stories when they go to LA. So I'm hopefully going to get there later this summer, and I don't know, I'll be looking for other things to do this summer too. It's so fleeting, it goes by so fast, and winter will be back here before you know it. So you really got to enjoy this time of the year while you can. Because we passed the summer solstice, and that's the longest day of the year. Now, some people go, oh, that's a great thing. But I get a little sad because you know what that means? Every day is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter, and we get less and less daylight from here on out. So enjoy it while it lasts.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to wrap up today's episode of Orion Today. We'll be back in 2 weeks, I believe, with new guests and new videos and new stories. So we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.